welcome to you, and many thanks for joining us on this week's edition of the program. We remain your source for all the latest happening in the world of business. My name is Loretta. You are warmly welcome. On the CEO Roundtable this week, we bring you the full text of the keynote address delivered by Mrs. Kanayo Awani, Executive Vice President, Intra-African Trade and Export Development, Afreximbank, at the 52nd African Insurance Organization Conference and General Assembly in Cairo, Egypt. The keynote highlighted the need for a regulatory harmonization that will allow Pan-African insurance efficiently cover trade under AfCFTA. Let's take a listen.
We all return to that ancient crossroads. It's no longer the world's quarry. It's no longer a market to be supplied by others. It is the next great center in our minds, in our own belief of the global economic gravity.
On our event segment, we will bring you the highlights from third Business Journal FinTech and Financial Inclusion Roundtable that was organized recently under the theme FINTECH, driving the further of digital financial ecosystem in Nigeria at the Lagos Oriental Hotel. The event was well attended by stakeholders across sectors. Let's check out excerpts.
Fair competition is essential to innovation. When a market is open and competitive, institutions are encouraged to improve their services, reduce costs, and respond more effectively to customer needs. However, where too much of the market is controlled by a small number of connected institutions, other participants may find it difficult to compete, while customers may have fewer choices.
What more can I say than to urge you to sit back and enjoy the line of details after the break. Please stay with us.
Voting is now open for the 2026 Almond Insurance Industry Awards in the various categories: Insurance CEO of the Year, General Insurance Company of the Year, Life Insurance Company of the Year, Insurance Broking Company of the Year, Insurance Broker of the Year, Insurance Woman of the Year, Insurer or Broker, Micro Insurance Company of the Year, Takaful Insurance Company of the Year, Most Valuable Insurance Customer of the Year. To vote, please visit the award website www.almondinsuranceindustry.awards.com to vote your choice using your OTP. Voting is free. Stamp your approval. Let your vote count. Voting opens 6th of August 2026 and closes 6th of September 2026. Almond Insurance Industry Awards. Rewarding excellence.
Continental reinsurance market wrote roughly just a little over $6 billion in premium. It is the reason projects are delayed, finance is priced higher, investment is thinner, to the boldest of those 1963 resolutions. One African market, built not on sentiment but on rules, and that holistic architecture. We now have institutions and the mandates to build. Documents the centrality of this role across infrastructure lifestyle, increasingly the syndication partner of choice. Insurers hold approximately $42 trillion in assets. If we channel even half a percentage of that capital toward African infrastructure, it will then begin to close the continent's annual financing gap. So when that chain holds together, projects can close. When it breaks, projects do not close. The will is there. There are failures of integration. And they are precisely what the AFCFTA applied seriously to syndicate the large deals that no single national market can carry alone, and to access full data across 1.5 billion consumers. That is how that $6 billion insurance market can grow. The sharper question, therefore, is not whether insurance matters, it's whether African capacity will scale fast enough to match the African ambition.
Business Journal, one of the leading online business news hub in Nigeria, recently put together its 2026 FinTech and Financial Inclusion Roundtable at the Oriental Hotel, Lagos. The third edition of the Roundtable was organized under the theme FinTech, Driving the Future of Digital Financial Ecosystem in Nigeria. Welcoming participants to the Roundtable, the publisher Business Journal, Mr. Prince Cookie asked a critical question on the fate of traditional banks in the next 10 years with FinTech revolution.
Fintechs in Nigeria have revolutionized the financial landscape by dramatically increasing access to banking services, driving, for example, a 20% increase in financial inclusion and helping to bring the bank population to roughly 63%. These banks have introduced faster, affordable digital payments, lending, and investment services, forcing traditional banks to adopt digital transformation. Indeed, 12 years ago or so, nobody in Nigeria was talking about money point, bank pay, OPay, POS, but the story has changed today, and we expect more changes going forward. But there are challenges, even as we are enjoying. Thank God the regulators are here. The first challenge is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this FinTech revolution? Please permit me to go back a little bit again. You know, in secondary school in those days, our government teacher came in and he said, "Good morning, class. Today we want to study systems of government." And he mentioned democracy. He listed 10 advantages of democracy. We were very happy. 10. And then he listed 10 disadvantages of democracy. We became confused. So how can democracy have 10 merits and then demerits? The man said, you know, boys and girls, calm down. For every advantage, there will always be disadvantage. Like I said, thank God our regulators are here. So the first challenge or issues, what are advantages and disadvantages of the FinTech revolution? Now the second issue is, what will be the fate of traditional banks, I mean the brick and mortar banks, in the next 10, 15, 20 years with this FinTech revolution? The third issue, and thank God, before I move away a little bit, thank God that Dr. David is here He'll be giving us a goodwill message on cybersecurity in terms of the fintech revolution. So, yes, while we celebrate, there are issues. And I want to believe that the speakers and the audience here and the experts will have the capacity to do justice to all these issues pertaining to fintech, revolution, advantages, disadvantages, challenges, going forward, and all that. The third business journal FinTech Financial Inclusion Roundtable aims to underscore the positive contribution of fintechs in deepening financial inclusion, expanding access to financial services, and contributing to economic growth.
Delivering the opening remarks on behalf of Dr. Rekia Okpemi Yusuf, Director of Payment System Supervision, Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Babatunde Ajiboye, Assistant Director of the CBN, noted that when the market is open for all competitors, customers benefit.
Regulation should not prevent useful ideas from reaching the market. At the same time, innovation cannot be used as a reason to weaken accountability. Every institution that holds public funds, processes payments, or handles sensitive customer information must operate responsibly. The central bank has continued to improve the regulatory environment for banks, fintech companies, and other payment service providers. We have licensed new categories of operators, encouraged the development of digital payment channels, and supported greater participation in the financial system. We have also maintained engagement with industry operators to understand new business models and address emerging risks. Our objective is not to favor one group of operators over another. It is not to protect established institutions from competition, nor is it to give institutions an unfair advantage. Our duty is to ensure that every qualified operator has a fair opportunity to compete, that the rules are clear, and that customers remain protected. Fair competition is essential to innovation. When a market is open and competitive, institutions are encouraged to improve their services, reduce costs, and respond more effectively to customer needs. However, where too much of the market is controlled by a small number of connected institutions, other participants may find it difficult to compete, while customers may have fewer choices.
In his opening remarks, the chairman of the day, Dr. Umaru Kwaranga, Group Chairman, Nigerian Exchange Group, said that the Nigerian fintechs have demonstrated ingenuity in payment systems to the admiration of global players.
Technology is no longer simply transforming the way financial services are delivered. It is reshaping how economies grow, how businesses access capital, and how individuals participate in economic activities. Globally, the countries making the greatest progress in digital finance are those that are not only adopting new technologies, but are also using them to strengthen their financial architecture, improve efficiency, and expand access. Over the past decades, our fintech ecosystem has emerged as one of Africa's most vibrant. Nigerian innovators have developed solutions that have expanded access to financial services, transformed payment, and demonstrated that local ingenuity can compete on a global scale. There is no doubt that fintech is revolutionizing financial services in Nigeria. I worked in a bank as a young graduate more than 3 decades ago. And I can tell you that the banking and financial services sector was very different from what we have today. You can recall the time of the tally number. Customers had to come to physical branches for almost all services that they required. And our offices were filled with shelves, loaded with files for customers' KYC, customers' loan applications, customers' tellers, bank draft documentation, just to mention a few. Today, We can download an app, upload our KYC, and open a bank account on our handset within a minute. We can, if needed, ask for a loan from that account that same day. We can make transfers in billions from our bank account from the comfort of our homes. We can buy insurance, since we have the president of insurance here, and invest in local and international stocks, the capital market on our handsets. The ease and speed at which such services are rendered through financial technology has encouraged adoption of financial services by both young and old and helped to advance Nigerian financial inclusion goals. However, as we celebrate these achievements, we must also consider a fundamental question. How do we ensure that innovation translates into broad-based economic opportunity? At the Nigerian Exchange Group, which is the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we continue to embrace technology as a key driver of market development. We have invested heavily in fintech and digital initiatives because we see it as an imperative for breaking our capital market and inculcating a savings and investment culture into millions of Nigerians. Most of our trading license holders are brokers, have apps for order management services through which their clients can trade stocks and bonds directly from their gadgets. During the recent banking recapitalization, and I believe the insurance recapitalization too, which I believe is closing today, all the insurance companies that came through the Nigerian capital market have not only succeeded or achieved their own target, but they oversubscribed their own shares. The same to the banking recapitalization.
Others who gave goodwill messages at the roundtable this year were Mr. Akinjide Orimolade, President, Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria, CAIRO, and Mr. Wale Oshodi, who stood in for the President of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, and Dr. David Isiare, President, Information Security Society of Africa, Nigeria. The rapid expansion of Nigeria's fintech ecosystem has given strategic opportunity to drive inclusive economic growth. Delivering the keynote, the first speaker, Mr. Emmanuel Ovaga, CEO, Pofape, said that the future of Nigeria's digital ecosystem will depend on regulation and collaboration.
The future of Nigeria's digital financial ecosystem depends on 1. Innovation, collaboration, consumer trust, responsible regulation. So today, collaboration among regulators, banks, fintechs, telcos, operators, investors, and government is essential. Emerging technologies such as AI, blockchain, open banking. I hope we are also wishing that open banking is going to give us success, because with that, what happens is that when someone hacks your money, takes your money, the sender money does not actually have validates who is taking the money, because in our eyes the KYC is met, right? So we release the money. So but with the open banking, maybe with that, with community working together, then the advent of people transferring your money to another account, they move it from the account to the next would will bring it closer. But I'm also hoping that the regulators do something on the open banking. It's going to help a lot in terms of collaboration between banks and other fintech players in the financial system, and innovation and powerful leadership.
Also sharing her thoughts, the second keynote speaker, Dr. Chinyere Alumna, Director General, CEO, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI. In her submission, she stated that fintechs can only succeed when trust is growing as fast as innovation.
Fintechs can only succeed when trust is growing as fast as innovation is growing. So as you innovate, as you create new products, you're thinking, how do I ensure trust? So we have a few challenges here. Infrastructure remains a challenge, so broadband gap and power reliability constraints affect both those innovating and those using. So that is an issue that we need to deal with, especially outside major cities like Lagos. In the hinterland, it remains a big problem. Regulation is also a problem. Sometimes there are multiple regulatory touch points and a compliance cost, and that creates confusion and friction. and that slows down and discourages investment. Particularly, there are multiple regulations, and most regulatory institutions are trying. Everybody's trying to regulate the same set of people. You know, charges here, charges there, do this, do that. It becomes so frustrating. But you know, Nigerians, I don't know how we do it. We are very resilient. And there's also the issue, I've talked about the issue of customer trust. There's the inclusion, the matter of inclusion that we need to think about, those outside the cities. Also, digital literacy gaps exist. When I was talking to the NIPS team yesterday, and we were talking about the platforms for government payment and revenue collection, and I keep saying, so how do you have to think about the fact that you say, oh, now we have a platform, does not mean anybody will use the platform. How do we ensure that people understand it enough to want to embrace it? And so that's an issue that capacity gap is a real thing, and we need to think about it, but there's also the gender inclusion aspect. Capital remains a problem, that we need more funding for startups to be able to do what they do. And every day you hear a new name, and it's exciting that we're thinking about all of these things, but they need finance to really be able to scale. Okay, next slide. Nigeria, so we talk about economic competitiveness, and the FinTech is a strategic national asset, and we must understand it, not just for domestic inclusion, but also as we think about businesses across Africa, small businesses who want to export spices, export agricultural produce, export clothing, even music, everything. So FCFT and cross-border payments is important to think about, because FinTech can actually strengthen Nigeria's position by supporting FCFT implementation. Of course, cross-border payment, export competitiveness, digital commerce, tax administration, MSME formalization. Really, Nigeria has the opportunity to become Nigeria's digital financial hub, provided policy and infrastructure keep pace with innovation. Africa cannot fully trade together while payment systems remain fragmented, and that's why, during one of our LCCI trade mission, we met a Nigerian entrepreneur who was exporting processed food to neighboring African countries.
The high points of the roundtable this year was the panel session, which was a no-holds-barred. Amongst the panelists were Dr. Muda Yusuf, Mrs. Idu Okialamun, Mrs. Shola Longe Okenikbe, amongst others. While FinTech has changed Nigeria's finance landscape positively, gaps still exist, especially on the regulatory side, which experts believe can do more in supporting startups who have the potential to reach Nigeria's unbanked communities faster using technology.
Voting is now open for the 2026 Almond Insurance Industry Awards in the various categories: Insurance CEO of the Year, General Insurance Company of the Year, Life Insurance Company of the Year, Insurance Broking Company of the Year, Insurance Broker of the Year, Insurance Woman of the Year, Insurer or Broker, Micro Insurance Company of the Year, Takaful Insurance Company of the Year, Most Valuable Insurance Customer of the Year. To vote, please visit the award website www.almondinsuranceindustry.awards.com to vote your choice using your OTP. Voting is free. Stamp your approval. Let your vote count. Voting opens 6th of August 2026 and closes 6th of September 2026. Almond Insurance Industry Awards. Rewarding excellence.
This is our time on the program this week. Many thanks for your company. Join us again, same station, same time next week for a fresh package. If you miss any part, do well to watch us on our YouTube channel at Almond TV. Voting in the 2026 Almond Insurance Industry Award has opened. To vote your favorite candidate in the various categories, visit the website at almondinsuranceindustryaward.com to cast your vote. Voting is free, but you can only vote once using your OTP. Until next time, be good and have a great day ahead. My name is Loretta. It's a goodbye.